Hello, all my sun, moon, and rising Libras, and whatever other placement you have Libra in. Welcome to my channel. I haven't done readings in a long time, but I wanted to do one for you guys. So I'm filming this for April 2023, but if you want to watch it at another time, you can definitely do that whenever you feel the calling to. I have two decks for this video. The first one is the Gil Tarot, and the second one is an old deck that I have used on this channel for a couple of years, and it's the Healing with the Fairies Oracle. And what I like to do is pull out a card from this deck and read from the booklet because I like the meanings and I think it's well written. So I'll start pulling the cards out. I am getting a little bit of antsy energy, which isn't a bad thing, but there seems to be some energy of anticipation and eagerness, excitable energy. I wouldn't worry too much about what can be seen as a conflict right now. For the cards that I pulled out, majority of them are minor arcana. So there's major and minor arcana in tarot. Major arcana is more of the fool's journey, more of major things that happen in your life, uh, for simpler terms, and then minor arcana is for more of the everyday, today occurrences. So you do show up in the reading as the Queen of Swords, the court card in the minor arcana, and I feel like you're trying to rationalize a situation that you're going through right now. And one of the major arcana that shows up right now in the reading, aside from another one, is the Wheel of Fortune. So that goes with the mentality and being able to shift your perspective. I know it can be hard to see at times because Libras have the trait of wanting things to be just and right and fair for all parties. We are represented with the Justice card and wanting justice to be served. So the underlying energy, which is interesting because I like pulling up the underlying energy with the mental cards because it could show expressions, mannerisms, actions that occur because of what's the underlying cause of something. And that's the Star card. So it does feel like it is one that, like a yearning for something and knowing that something is good with specifically a person with good intentions, or something or someone that you feel is good for you or for a specific situation. Sense of hope, and there's some serenity or something serene about this particular person that you're thinking about. I am feeling like it's a particular person. And I will show the oracle card right now, since it does feel like it links to how you're feeling. You have quiet time. And the silence feels like it's not exactly something that you would like to go through, because if you want to talk to the person, there is the sense of eagerness that you get. But in the further future, which I don't feel like is too far from now, I say further because there is an immediate future position in here. You have the Six of Wands. And with the Six of Wands, it has the word victory on it. I'm sorry you can't see that very well. But in the Rider-Waite-Smith version of it, because this is a different system of tarot that I'm reading, but I will reference the Rider-Waite-Smith because I have the imagery in my head right now. There's a person on a horse with people looking at the person as if they've come back from a victory, come back from war, or something big that they accomplished, and they're in awe about what they did. So I feel like you'll be on that horse, and people are going to give you the attention that I feel like you're yearning for. And it doesn't need to be people. It's mainly that specific person that you're looking for the attention from. But it seems like you'll have more than one person that will be impressed by your capabilities in certain situations that you've overcome. I'll pull out some extra cards. I know for the immediate future, you have the Eight of Swords, conflict. So it might be a lot of head games right now. Feeling like you're trapped in your thoughts because you're thinking maybe of the worst, or even if you're not thinking about the worst, there's always the constant questions of why haven't they said anything, or why is this happening, or the energy feels stagnant, and I don't like that because I want there to be movement. But in positions of stillness, it's always nice to be able to occupy your time with other needs that need to be met. I feel like the universe can give you a lot of quiet time or these parts of your life because there are other things that need to be resolved. And what types of things would need to be resolved? Because I feel that would be a curious question. You're getting more majors here, so it is important for you to have quiet time. But for the clarifying cards for the Eight of Swords, I know Libras being the air sign, they don't like a lot of mental conflict. And the extra card that came out is the Seven of Swords too. Uncertainty is the key word on here, but I am getting it. It's going to be a learning curve. And this learning curve that you're getting from the Seven of Swords is vital for you to get out of the Eight of Swords. So the extra cards that you have, it's another major arcana. So quiet time is important at this time. That's one of the main messages for this reading. You have the World. Something important that you need to complete. And there is a way of brainstorming or putting some work into it. The heart space kind of leads the way into this with the Prince or Knight of Cups. Creativity. Finding ways to maneuver your situation. A lot of blue here. So I do feel like it has to do with your heart space, particularly. What are you trying to figure out? Because those clarifying cards, to clarify the clarifying cards, you have the Four of Cups, Sadie. And with this one, there's something that you're not getting, or there's this suppressed energy, or Sadie having less than, or if you're suppressing something or not having it. The Priestess, lots of watery energy. And what are you working towards with the Three of Wands, Enterprise? It does seem like you know with the Priestess, the other tasks that need to be done. You have with that the Ten of Swords, trying to end the cycle with the Minor Arcana. 10 being towards the end, the cycle can start over. And then you have the Prince of Wands. The Prince or Knight of Wands is an interesting energy to have because it is an eager card, but it's also important that the energy of the Prince of Wands understands that it needs to complete the task before moving on to something else. Usually that can be something to realize for the Knight of Wands because sometimes he can be seen as an incompletionist. So to put your strides towards the laundry list of things that you might need to do instead of focusing on what you're not getting. Maybe what you're not getting is important for you to not get it now so that in the meantime you can work on other things and then it'll contribute to what you're meant to gain with what you're waiting for with the stagnant energy. And the extra cards for what you're waiting for: Ace of Wands, Potency. Then these are the other major arcana. The Fool. So that's the starting over that you get. The excitement. There's so much eagerness to do this. And then once you start over, it's going to be the Tower. So for some of you, you might be talking to somebody and then this could be starting some type of bond or relationship or even partnership in another way too, or a combination where both of you guys have things to contribute to the relationship that you have, and it'll help each other out in the long run. Not only teach each other, but it could be financially too. But it's going to be not an easy task, and it will turn a lot of things upside down until you figure out or get things together in the meantime. And for some of you, you may not even realize I say severity of the situation, and not in a bad way, but the intensity that you will get once this happens, and once you get the confirmation that you're meant to be with this person, or this is meant to happen, that there's going to be even more things for you to complete. And if you're not complete with the other things that were supposed to be completed a while back, you might be backed up. So that's something to consider. And I cut the deck, and I have the Two of Wands Dominion. So it's better to start now, because once you get to that point, it's just going to keep going, and it might be hard to catch up. In the past, you have the Nine of Swords. A lot of mental conflict that you were getting in the immediate future is the Eight of Swords. In the past is the Nine. So you're coming from a 9 to an 8. So maybe just for energetic clarity or mental clarity, from going to a 9 to an 8 isn't necessarily working backwards, even if it is numerically, but it seems like you might have calmed down the stress that you were getting. So, to clarify, I have the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Discs, Unity, and then the Magician. Another major arcana. So the major arcanas are really coming out for this reading as underlying for why there is silence and why it's an important time to have silence. And you can see that the figure is in a pasture or a field that has flowers, and needing it to be necessary to grow them. And you see that there are roses here, tending the future, tending the garden, getting the sun. It's a good time. Feels like almost like a harvesting time. Like it's a nice season to do these things. So quiet time with harvesting time, or growing time, tending time. There are 3 cards that came out for the present, and it's the Six of Cups, Satisfaction, the King of Cups, Inspiration, and the Four of Wands, Completion. The Four of Wands, I'm linking it to the Nine of Swords. That could also be where the stress is coming from, knowing that things need to be finished. There needs to be something that's set with the fours. For like a chair, for like a table, things need to have some type of foundation or balance too. something, and it's important for a Libra to have that too. Because a lot of stress comes to the Libra when a lot of things like teeter-totter, even though we tend to do that to ourselves too. With the Six of Cups coming, it does feel like it's linking to the past, and being able to set the differences aside. The despair that you get from the past, which is nice that you have the King of Cups. King of Cups is good for emotional stability, which helps calm the 9 to go to the 8. Overall energy can be the 10 of Wands. A lot of high stress, but I don't feel like it's completely present. I feel like it can be self-inflicted too. A lot of internal energy, and this is another major arcana that you have in the deck too. It's the Hermit. Also linking to Virgo. You see that he's on a summit and plants his feet there to go on this journey, or to really look into yourself and to be able to externalize it. But how are you externalizing something? Princess of Swords, Page of Swords, control. You might need to talk things through, which is something that the Hermit isn't really doing. The Hermit, it goes within, but then there's something that wants to express it. So there is a balance in other major arcana, and it's the Temperance or Temperature that's written on the card. The inner balance of being able to have internal control and external control. And I feel like that will help move with the Wheel of Fortune. And I just pulled out an extra card, but as I was saying the Wheel of Fortune, and I got the Two of Cups, love. So there is a type of fluidity, because with cups it's also linked to water. For the karmic card, why everything is happening, you have the Two of Swords, peace, which is good for this situation, because even if you don't have someone to communicate with, to be able to work through mental conflict is definitely something that's important, especially for the traits that Libras have. And putting their mind at ease. I'll just pull out an extra card for that one. Ace of Pentacles, wealth. So this is important so you can ground yourself. in your environment, it's really nice because you have the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Discs, prudence, which is also tending for the future with the word prudence there. Also, the meaning of prudence. But with the Nine of Discs, it's also, or Nine of Pentacles for Rider-Waite-Smith, it's also one where a person is established. So you have your resources, but you're concentrating on other things that you would like to have. When the world gave you things that you need to have right now. So I would say it's not completely, I wouldn't say it's not necessary, but it's not yet. I mean, if you're the Nine of Pentacles or the Nine of Discs, at some point you're gonna get the thing that you're really eager to have. But that could also be one for maybe if you're a business person and you know how to work through things and get things and make it into reality. So I wouldn't worry too much about your environment because with you being the Nine of Pentacles, you're gonna get it. And as I say that, if it's linking to love, I got the Lovers card that I just pulled out. So it's gonna happen. Just it's okay. And then for the hopes or fears, you have the Nine of Wands, and this is another preparation card. So it seems like you just need to prepare for things, and then the clarifying card is the Sun card. So you're preparing for the ultimate, the ultimate, I'm gonna say conclusion or outcome for what you're trying to do. Because again, with the Nine of Pentacles, this is like one of the biggest things that you have going on for your reading is that even if it is the minor arcana, it still has importance of it too. That you know how to establish yourself, or you're already established and you have your links and your resources, people that you know to help you with these things. So the extra cards that I did pull out for the further future, for the Six of Wands, for being victorious and for people to be mesmerized by the things that you've done. You have the Queen of Pentacles. I didn't turn the cards yet around until now. The Queen of Pentacles, this is a great card. The Seven of Pentacles, and you're still working towards stuff even in the further future. And the Moon. I'm getting persistence with the Seven of Pentacles. That it's not just an overnight thing, and it's not one of those things where you work towards it and then you get it. I think it's going to be constant, that you're going to be working towards this specific person or goal. You have the Ace of Cups that came with the Seven of Pentacles, beauty. So this is an overflowing abundance of some happiness that you're getting. And with the Moon, I'm getting persistence with it too. And with that, the Hanged Man, another major arcana. Shifting what to think about, what to learn about. Five of Wands, endeavor. For direction in this deck. And then the final two that I'll pull out from the tarot. A lot of fire towards the further future. The Emperor. really taking the lead in this situation. I feel like you will be uh, of the lead in this situation if you are getting into a relationship. It looks like there's something that you have, or an attribute that you have, that really paves the way for this other person, and it helps them out. So I think that there's something to learn from you that they're getting from you. In the Seven of Wands, Valor, being able to be on top of things and be a couple steps ahead. With the Queen of Pentacles, the nurturing card, and there's a sense of consistency and hard working that you get from her. So the oracle card that you get is Quiet Time. And I'll read from the book. And it went right to it. You need some time alone, away from other people and environmental noises. Even a brief respite would be extremely rejuvenating for you. Sometimes we're not even cognizant of the detrimental impact of stress in our life. We become so accustomed to living in an uproar that we're not aware that our body is telling us that it's on overload. The symptoms include illness, unusual fatigue, depression, anxiety, appetite and weight issues, addictions, sleep disorders, irritability, and desire to withdraw from life. By drawing this card, you're being asked to honor your body and spending some quiet time alone. As soon as possible, this might be going on a silent retreat, spending a day at a lake, beach, or in the mountains, taking a hike, or visiting a day spa. You can even turn off your phone, put it on Do Not Disturb, sign on your door, and take an afternoon nap, a long bubble bath, or read your favorite book. Regardless of the form your quiet time takes, the fairies just ask you to keep the promise to yourself without delay. Affirmation: I now give myself permission to be silent within and without. My mind is quiet and I enjoy my own company. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another reading.